What is up, y'all? Thanks for checking out the video. In this one, I'm gonna go over the garden. As you can tell from the video I did about 30 days ago, it is now the end of April. I did a garden update at the end of March, and things look a lot different than they did back in March, right? Everything's popping. We're starting to see some fruits popping up on some of these plants, flowering, all sorts of things. We've got new additions and new setups. So let's go ahead and go over it. I love these videos because I love seeing the contrast from like the end of March to now, you know, and then going back and looking at that. I think that helps me understand my garden a little bit, time frames and how long it takes things to bloom and whether I'm doing stuff wrong or right. So I love having these videos to go back and just see where the garden's at, see where my head's at, whether I was doing it right or wrong, and any successes or failures that I had. So I watch these videos are as much for me as they are for anyone else who's interested. So yeah, end of April. Everything's greening up. We've got new additions. We've got projects going on. We'll go ahead and go straight to the new additions. These are my Japanese maples. I've started to pick up quite a few of these. I want to get into Japanese maples. I've ordered from several sellers and learning quite a bit about these, but these are all sorts. I ordered these from a seller on Amazon. I would not recommend it because once they start to leaf out, you may realize that you were sent the wrong plant, and there's no recourse. But you know, at least I got 13 healthy plants out of my orders. For example, this was supposed to be a Yukigumo, but that looks more like a geisha gone wild than a Yukigumo. So, you know, we're working through some of that stuff. I don't know what this one is. Purple Ghost. Little Red Dwarf. Peacock, Japanese Maple. Sango Kaku. And some of these just have fantastic colors to them. This is an Orange Dream. Super dense foliage, really cool. This is a Higaseyama. And in the fall, you'll get the green articulated in the middle with the pink on the edges. They look really neat too. All these are dwarf plants as well, so they're not going to get more than 10, 12 feet. And that's going to take some time as well too. Kiro Jaime. This is the Black Princess. Just look at that color. Really neat. It's a coral pink. And that's another Higaseyama. But everything's doing really well as far as Japanese maples are concerned. Even though I got some of the wrong ones, it's fine. We're gonna start kind of a collection around here in the yard eventually. I'm gonna container them for a while, 2 or 3 years maybe, and then eventually move them to the yard. The tomato trough is booming. I did a video like 2 days ago and it was below the bottom wire here. And all these plants have gone past the bottom wire. It seems like they're growing a couple inches a day. Better Boy and Red Beefsteak tomatoes in a Tartar Farm and Ranch Equipment trough. And what's really cool about these is I've done tomatoes in containers over the past few previous years. I usually do too much of them, and I want to focus my time and effort on some other plants and start to really build a perennial garden here, right? Like plants that are going to come back next year. And I like tomatoes, but you know, I don't need 1 billion tomatoes. So this is our little tomato station. And as they grow, as the vines grow, we're going to use these little trellis lines here to tie them to. And it'll be a little tomato station. Now these are all indeterminate, which means they're gonna, once they get to like 90 days or so, they're gonna start producing tomatoes. You can see there's already flowers on these guys. And they will continue to produce tomatoes until they run out of food or freeze. So all I have to do is fertilize the trough once they start to slow down a little bit. Muscadine, he's popping out. This is a 3rd year Muscadine in a container on a tomato trellis, and just a fun eye-catching piece, right? And I'm just going to use the vines to kind of branch out onto the fence and onto the wire and kind of create this little corral effect here in the garden. This is a potted honeysuckle. As you can see, it is starting to pop, and I've got some honeysuckle cuttings that I'm rooting as well too. I'll show you those in just a minute, but those are fun. I've always liked honeysuckles ever since I was a little kid. Water system. Check out some of my previous videos and I'll explain everything, but real quick, I've got a Odie water diverter on that downspout. So all the water comes down the house, down that downspout. The Odie does a good job and catches most of that water, puts it into that tank. This tank is set up at a certain height to where it's about 5 to 8 inches taller than where this tank is at. So what happens is it's connected by a garden hose, these 2 tanks. So as this fills up, this one will also equalize. Now, once this one gets completely full, it's a little bit higher than this one, so it'll push water out the top. So I'll come out when it's raining or whatever, and this one's overflowing out of the top from the pressure from this one. And we've had a water problem in this corner. That's why we're taking it from this corner. The Odie, let's see, I'll show you what that is. That is just a little water diverter insert that goes into your downspout. That's getting 80% of the water that comes down that pipe. It has to really be raining hard for it to go straight down through and away from the house. But it's worked really well. These water barrels are typically full or halfway full, and I use this water for plants. Plants love rainwater much more than they like treated city water with chemicals and that sort of thing in it. So that's what I use to water all the plants in my garden. All right, so going on right now, I have filled up these cups. There's nothing in them yet. This is just cups and trays that I got from Lowe's, and I save them and use them to seed plants future years. But I do have some seeds popping. These are Tabasco peppers. So once these get to a certain size, I'll go ahead and pull the pot, start breaking them apart in single plants, and then adding them into the cups here. I'll keep about 4 of them and give the rest away to neighbors and whatnot. Jalapenos in these 2, they haven't come up yet. And Anaheim is right here. So I'm sprouting some Anaheim peppers. Those are my favorites. Those are great for stuffing on the grill, right? Like grilling and smoking and all that. They've got a little spice to them, but they're not too bad. So all these are Anaheims. But yeah, a couple more weeks, once these seedlings come out, I'll break up these pots and then start putting them in the cups. Everything here is perennials. So strawberries, which I'm gonna make this little corner right here, a strawberry corner, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, mint, more blueberries. All that in the middle is raspberries. 2nd year fig tree right here. And then another blueberry bush, this big one in this big brown pot. As you can see, it's got blueberries this year. One thing about this big bush is we did keep it on the back porch by itself with no other blueberries around. And past couple years, it's a 3rd-year bush out of the container. We didn't have any blueberries on this, but as soon as I move it out here next to some of these blueberry bushes, it's loaded up with blueberries. So note to self, some of these blueberry plants need to be grouped together in groups of 2s or 3s or more. All right, the trellis. I added another post to the trellis. 1, 2, 3. All of these trellises have wires. 1, 2, 3. That's a raspberry plant that I cloned down here. He's going to get planted underneath this trellis. We'll go to the back side here. Reliance Seedless Grape. This is the 2nd year. It's just starting to get going. It's very small still. It probably won't fill up this trellis side this year. 3rd year raspberry right here. And all the raspberry on this trellis is all from that spot. So they'll grow out and hang all the way over. But as you can see, the raspberries, they're starting to flower. They typically flower after the blueberries are done. Or I'm sorry, the blackberries, the white flowers right there. So once those blackberries are done, these raspberries will really start popping, typically. Concord grape. Looks like we're gonna get some grapes off of the Concord. I'm gonna follow this up to right here. And as you can see, we've got grape clusters on the Concord. So this is here's another one. These look different than the Catawba. And I'll show you the Catawbas. See, that's more of a cluster with those little red dots in it. And those are small group of clusters. But Concord, the Catawba or Catawba is really doing good. As you can see, trunk is starting to get thick. And there are more than 100 of these little grape clusters all around. Grape clusters, grapes. So yeah, we're gonna have a nice little grape crop this year on the trellis. But the goal is to kind of fill this trellis out. I'm gonna plant another grape down there and get 5 or 6 different varieties. Create just a wall of grapevines on this side that kind of encompasses the garden. That way is south, so the sun comes in from this angle. But yeah, grapevines are doing good. And then we'll talk about my pepper box. All right, everything in here is a pepper. I like cooking with peppers, so that's basically why we're gonna do this entire above ground pepper box. Strictly peppers and cilantro. So this is cilantro seeding up right now. Anaheim. Those are the best. I love the Anaheims. They're about the size of my hand and perfect for stuffing on the grill, specifically the big green egg, cheese and sausage and meat and barbecue, and they're awesome. So Anaheim peppers. Mammoth jalapeno, which same deal, right? Like I could do stuffed jalapenos, poppers, that sort of thing, smoked on the grill. Smaller jalapenos. Then down here we'll get to the less spicy stuff. I like to kind of spread it out and do like sweet, not spicy, spicy. So gypsy peppers. Lunchbox orange has been getting destroyed by a slug, I think. It is not doing well at all. Once it heats up, it may take off, but I need to put some slug deterrent down here. But yeah, that's what slug damage looks like, which definitely sucks. All those leaves are all eaten up. Jalapeno pepper, that is a not hot jalapeno down here. Now you got to be careful with where you put your peppers in relation to you know, your Scoville index, basically, right? Like if you put a really hot pepper right next to a not hot pepper, they can swap, right? Your not hot pepper is going to get super hot, pollinate, and become a hybrid, right? Then your hot pepper is not gonna be as hot, right? Because it's pollinated with a cross-pollinated with a less hot pepper. So once they start flowering, I'll separate them. Down here are 2 hot peppers. Those I'll probably move out to the front yard. That way we don't run as big as a risk of a cross-pollination. But yeah, fun. And that is a quick overview of the garden as it stands at the end of April 2020. So as you can see, we got a lot going on here. Grapes, perennials, things are fruiting and flowering. Japanese maples, got a few more of those coming in here soon from a more reputable online dealer. All kinds of cool stuff. So thanks for checking out the video. Hope it's been informative and fun. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. Take care.